What's up, my beautiful Fun family? My name is Ariel Rivera, and I am your host of Fun Insurance Solutions. Today, we have a great episode with my good friend, Stephen Mohr. Steve, who, by the way, this is his second time around on the podcast. You're going to listen to Steve's story. He's an amazing guy. He's been an industry leader for over 20 years. Steve is going to talk to us about his new project, theinsuranceindex.com. Again, theinsuranceindex.com, which is a website that he has built with tons of resources for insurance professionals, from conferences, events, or associations, you name it, everything. He has built a great website with tons of resources, and I'm sure you're going to love this episode. All right, before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, CoverDesk. Visit coverdesk.com, schedule your demo, and let them know you're part of the Fun family. CoverDesk is a virtual assistance company. They're awesome. I can tell you one thing about virtual assistants. They are there to help you with the back office. So reach out to CoverDesk, let them know you're part of the Fun family, and let's go have some fun. So I am more than honored to bring you the great Steve Mohr. How you doing, brother?
Awesome, Ariel. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I wish we were golfing, but that could be a little bit better. But hey, listen,
my first appearance, we played golf, we hung out.
I know. Those were the good old days. Now we got to work more.
Exactly.
Dude, how you been? Everything good?
Very good, man. Very good. A lot going on, a lot of exciting stuff happening, but busy is good for sure.
Yes, that's a good problem to have, right? That's always good. Listen, brother, it's Friday. You know it's coming. 7:00 at night. You had a wonderful week. Everything is going on perfect. You're going to share a lot of information today, which I love. But you want to sit down at home, just relax, chill. What's your drink of choice?
Drink of choice would definitely be a Bullet Rye Old Fashioned.
Good for you. Nice. So listen, man. Let's go down memory lane. Let's open, the trunk of memory, as a translation from Spanish to English. Open the trunk of your car. Tell us a little bit or a lot, as much as you want to share, about who Stephen Mohr is and how you became the insurance industry leader you are today.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, it's been a long journey. Been around a bunch of years, but as far as kind of the insurance game, even going back to, I think I got first license in 1996. That was just forever ago, but
no, that was yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I was still in high school, just so you know. I don't want to make you feel bad.
For sure. Yeah, but no, I worked in agencies. I managed agencies. I was district manager and gained a lot of respect for the industry and agents and owners that are successful, because I've always said consistently, like, being an agency owner in the insurance world is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. And it changes all the time. Market changes, the consumers change, and people that are successful are it's something to be proud of. So played the agency game for a while, and then transitioned into the technology aspect. I was a little more interested in that, so jumped into a company called eBridge. This is going back to 2009. There's a paperless solution that created a light agency management system, was very successful there, led to Allstate acquiring that product.
Nice.
Went along to Allstate, went to the acquisition in 2012, and kind of was there for about 10 years, really rolling that product out across the country, getting people to use it, implement it, really develop the roadmap and integrate that into all the larger Allstate products, technology-wise. So it was a huge learning experience. Learned a ton, really on the corporate side and how businesses operate and such. So, did that for just about 10 years, still have great relationships, both corporate and on the agency level from that world. But as, I think most people that are familiar with me within the, kind of the agency world, I'd made the transition to Lightspeed Voice back in, what was that, 2017, 18? God, it's all blurs together. But
it's been a long journey, that's for sure.
But I met, Brad Fuller. Lightspeed actually integrated with the product eAgent, and he had a lot within Allstate, and he was making a push really strongly into the independent channel. We kind of connected, and I went to lead sales and marketing for Lightspeed Voice. And this is kind of the start of the progression of the insurance index, which we'll spend some time talking about. But I had all this knowledge, the technology, on the products, had a lot of great relationships on the agency level, but I didn't really know what was going on in the independent agency channel, right? Because I was kind of in that captive world. Didn't know what the other technologies were, necessarily. I didn't know what
Okay.
events were going on out there. I didn't know what networks and associations to connect with. So as I started to grow and develop within that channel, basically started creating my own massive spreadsheets of companies, contacts, and then also, Lightspeed was a great product and already had a great reputation. So I was able to manage a lot of these integrations with the other technology partners, and, just kind of really built up this base of knowledge that, at some point I said, hey, there's probably a lot of people that could benefit from having this data, this information, and it's scattered all over the place. There's no good spot to find it. So it kind of triggered the thoughts back then. Started working on it a little bit. I think you and I actually
Yes,
chatted
we did.
2 years ago.
Yep.
And I was busy with life, obviously. I did end up leaving Lightspeed Voice after about 3 years and jumped on with Better Agency. Really liked what they had going on. It was kind of a great opportunity to jump back into that AMS world and just kind of see where it could go. Did that for a little bit. Just kind of got to a spot where they were so heavily focused on the actual product. And then as I brought all these, partnerships and potential integrations and different product thoughts, we're just kind of going in different directions, right?
Yes.
So we
Yep.
decided to part ways after a little bit. Still, wish them luck. Hope they're doing great things. And then it just kind of opened me up to really push forward full speed with the insurance index.
Nice.
Again, it's been a long-term vision. Just really excited to get it out there in the public. And we'll obviously talk a little bit more about what it is and all that kind of jazz. But I think that was fairly good summary. Hopefully it wasn't too long-winded for another.
No, I love it. I love it. I love sharing people's story. And that's one of the main purposes of the podcast, because people feel, identify and say, wait, you have created something special, right? And one of the things that I think that I appreciate the most about you is you and I are very similar. We're all about the relationship.
Absolutely.
Right. The product is the product, but it's the relationship that comes with the product, whether it's an insurance policy or a technology resource or whatever you're doing. It's one thing I love that, about you, because we get to share that. It's more the relationship than the product. The product is the end result, but we all need it, but it's more about that. So thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate that. And it's funny. I always say, if there's something that's keeping you up at night, right? If there's something that you are constantly thinking about, if there's something that you're like, you got to go and chase it. You got to go and try and get it. See if it's something that's worth for you, for your family, for your career. And that's, when I created the podcast, that was one of the things. And that's what you have done with the insurance index. You and I have been talking about this for almost 2 years. And one of the reasons of this podcast, and I wanted to bring you back, I want you to share with everyone what the insuranceindex.com is all about. And I encourage everyone to visit the website, because I know you're going to be sharing a lot of information. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So kind of how it started was kind of all centered around events, right? So again, most people that are familiar with me, whether they saw me at events or just know me from events, and I just obviously created this large database of all the big I events, the PIA events or national associations, and there's just so many to keep track of. There are a couple of sources out there, but they're very minimal, and a lot of times they're broken up into regional or whatever. So it really started as an event platform. And then, as I talked to other people and other vendors, it just started to grow and grow and grow. And obviously with all my technology background, focusing on the technology aspect was huge. And there are a lot of lists out there, but a lot of, pretty much all of them are either a network or an association that is being paid to provide that information. So if you don't pay, you're not on there, right? And if you do pay, how much are you paying, where are you placed, and all that kind of jazz. So it really, as I was developing the website, kind of had two really strong principles that I will stick with as we build it. The first one is I'm never going to charge an agent to access this data. I think, there's a couple out there and agents are paying, which to me it makes no sense, right? We're here to serve the agency community. They need the information. Why are we going to pay? And then, so that's kind of number one. Number two was that I would list all providers on the website at no cost. Basically, if you're a startup, if you're just getting started, or if you're large, get a listing, right? It's not going to be the most fancy, big listing on the planet, but you're at least going to be represented on the site. Provide your website information, provide your email contact information. And then we have obviously different tiers from that point. So a little bit of a tangent there, but we kind of built that on the technology, and then it just keeps kind of growing. And it's one of the things I've been trying to wrangle in personally. Jobs and careers is a whole nother thing that I talked to so many people that said they would love to have a resource. There's a couple out there. There's Indeed, but there's really nothing that's up to date, focused on the insurance world. So that's something that's kind of in development as well. And then there's community forum, which is something that I feel like is important. And again, it's just one of those things I got to kind of get rocking and rolling on, but just a place for people to connect, whether they're going to an event and, talking about what vendors are there, what speakers are there, and just really connect on that. You're reviewing technology providers, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's turned into quite a vast resource, made some steps in making it a little bit more refined as well. But yeah, it's a full
index. It's you and I discussed this, a couple of years ago, and you pitched your idea, and it's impressive how something that was going to be about sharing all the events, all the conferences, all the conventions, and everything that happens all across the country went from that to what it is now, where there's so many listings for different things.
About 900 now listening.
Okay.
And I've got a bunch in the hopper as well. So the way that the index lives now is it is kind of a linear search, I would say. You jump on, you want to find an AMS, you want to find a CRM, you want to find events. It's a linear list that pulls back. Kind of V2, which I'm working on now, and I've actually got a pretty cool prototype on it. So it's not something that's like months down the road, is a more targeted search. So I always kind of use the example, like I want to go to an event in Florida that Ariel Rivera is speaking at.
Nice.
And then there might be one or two of those, right? Or I want to go to an event in California that someone else is speaking, whatever the deal is. And it'll, I want an AMS that integrates with this VoIP system. So now you're just going to pull back that list. Instead of seeing 30 AMSs, you might only see 7 because those are the ones that are integrated, right?
Okay.
So clearly that's much harder to find that information. It's harder to keep that information up to date, but I do feel like there's a massive value there that people have, and most people agree, and it's just a matter of managing it and getting it. So yeah, that's kind of the direction on the just kind of the website as a standalone.
Dude, that's awesome. And I can tell you, you go check an agency management system. Then the next question is, do you integrate with my phone system? Then the next question is, do you integrate with my CRM, or do you have your own CRM? So if you can narrow that down, which is what you're doing, and it's awesome, it's going to be super valuable, because the insurance index is going to become the go-to place for us independent agents research about everything, not only conferences. There's so many good things, even continuing education courses. I mean, there's so much and so much potential, but you only look at it on one page. Whereas right now you got to go to 10 different websites to try to find out different stuff. So kudos to you, man. I'm so happy you followed through with the idea. And I know you've been thinking about it, working hard on it, and it's finally live. So again, I can only encourage everyone to visit theinsuranceindex.com, because that's going to be your number one source of information for anything insurance related. So
yeah, and I love feedback. And people always say, joke around, feedback is a gift, but it is. Like, I'll get emails, and when I first rolled it out, everything looks great, but when I'm on the mobile app, this font looks weird or something. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, somebody took the time and they emailed me back, and so it's cool. And I send out these listing forms posted on LinkedIn, and I'll send it to different vendors, and then I'll get one back. And it's just, again, as you kind of build it, it's just that validation of like, hey, people looked, they cared enough to provide their information for their business, and now it's listed on the site, so it's cool, and keeps things exciting for sure.
That's awesome. And then, so let's just say I go into theinsuranceindex.com like I am right now as we're doing the podcast. Do I go and create an account as an agent? What do you recommend?
So on the front, you can see everything on the front page without any kind of account or login.
Okay.
Yeah. And those are actually our premium partners. So there's different ways and different means to get on the site. These are companies, they'll drop some names: Imperial IPFS, Virtual Intelligence, Lightspeed Voice, Social Jazz. These are all companies that have early on have said, hey, we love this concept, we want to jump on board. And so those companies you can see without login. Once you create an account, then you could kind of open up the rest of the index and kind of see all the information there. And it's a name and an address. It's their email address. It's just more to kind of keep some form of
control.
Control.
Yeah.
I'm not monitoring and kicking people off or anything like that. If you have but anyway, obviously, that will grow as we get going. But yeah, initially just jump on, create the account, and you're rocking and rolling.
Okay. And then what are you looking for on the forum side of it?
Yeah.
Do you want just everybody to share whatever they want to share? You want people to ask questions? And what are you looking
Yeah,
for
kind of
there?
what my vision for that when I started it. And it was kind of funny just to tell a little bit of a story. When I started this, that forum aspect wasn't even part of the thought, right? It was just going to be this directory. And I actually engaged a marketing firm that I'd worked with at Lightspeed Voice that I really liked. And I just loved the process we went through and rebrand with them, and kind of jumped in. And as we talked, the marketing guy just came back at one point. He's like, every time you say something, you talk about the community, you talk about this group of people, how awesome it is. And he's like, this website needs to have a community aspect to it, and that's kind of where the forums came about. So it's one of those things, as you get this going, you have to drive activity to the forums, right? People aren't just going to automatically jump on there. But where I want it to go, again, is maybe it's not every vendor, but there's a forum about AMSs, there's a forum about CRMs, there's a forum about each event. And so it'd be like, I can jump on there and say, hey, I'm going to be at IAOA, who else is going? I want to meet, whatever the deal is. And then it could be post reviews, post like, hey, we were just there, here's what we liked, here's what we didn't. Same thing with vendors, how do integrations work? What kind of deals are going on right now? So it's really product and event specific is kind of the direction. There's tons of stuff on Facebook, obviously, and LinkedIn, but the goal is the forum on the site it's searchable. You can view it. So how many Facebook groups are you in where like twice a week someone asks the same question?
I know.
This way, with this forum, you can jump in and search like AMS 360 and it'll pop up any forums that had talked about AMS 360, so you don't have to ask the same questions over and over and over again.
That's awesome. And I can see I'm opening the filter side of it as soon as you log in on the homepage. Yeah. And it's asking you whether you're a vendor or an agent and what are you looking for, companies, jobs, association automation and all. So, I mean, dude, you have built something really good. And I look forward to having this same episode 2 years from now, where we can have the conversation about you guys becoming the go-to website for agency resources and vendors as well. So congratulations, man. You did awesome. It's been a long journey, right?
Sure.
So listen, when we talk about technology, we talk about automation, we talk about phone system. Every now and then we have the conversation, right? Or the question about, what would be the ideal tech stack, which as they call it now, for any agency to have. And sometimes, and again, I have seen super successful agencies. I mean, these agencies were writing probably close to $2 million in revenue a year, and they were still managing a lot of their policies in Excel, which is like, to me, it makes no sense in 2023 that it's going on. So, I get the question, whether I'm speaking at a conference or whatever, what's the ideal tech stack, right? So do you have any recommendations for, everyone that listens to us?
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's something I've dealt with that question for years, really. And especially even at Allstate, the massive company, right? They battle with what to provide, what to not provide. And kind of, you have to have automation today, right? And there's so many great tools that have the automation. Whether you have an AMS, CRM, a combo, you obviously need a prospect and customer management tool that provides automated contact out to your folks. It's just impossible to grow and manage in today's world without having automated contact. It's just not managed. There's so many good options out there on that world. And at the end of the day, whatever you pick, like I would say, like when I was at Allstate, there was this constant battle of we need to build this all-in-one solution. Like we need one spot for an agent to go and just be able to do everything. And it's just not going to happen. Like you just can't. There's too much new technology. If you're dealing with the auto customer versus a life insurance customer versus a commercial customer versus an investment customer, there's no way one platform is going to properly manage that, right? So as long as everything talks, right? So I'm an integrator on the technology side, and as long as you get stuff to speak, who cares where you do it? Obviously, from a financial aspect,
yes,
at some point you want to have stuff under control. But I do feel like that'd be for the people that just constantly look for the all-in-one solution. And I would say, like, if it was a thing, there would already be multiples of it.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah. It would be probably the largest one in the world.
Exactly. So pick stuff, use it. Make sure it has automation. And even for myself, like on the AI side, I'm still trying to get up to speed on it. I feel like that has to be part of your stack going into next year, whether it's just in the beginning stages or not. The speed at which and the accuracy at which you can get stuff done with the AI is incredible. I'm still a human. I like the human
Yes.
contact.
Yeah.
I feel like that's necessary, but automating those tasks is vital as we go forward. So it's a long-winded answer, but I think it's, again, make sure everything talks and make sure it automates.
And I tell everyone, more importantly, use it, because there's so many.
100%. Yeah.
The amount of agencies that they just purchase products and products and products and technology. And now you have, 3 CRMs and you're not even using one of them. I say it can be the greatest one, the most advanced one, or the most simple one. Just use it. That's it.
I've been fighting that battle even with the insurance index. I've been trying to find the right CRM, trying to find kind of this all-in-one deal. And I find myself telling myself all the time, like, you're not going to use this, so just don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
So using it is critical. And just kind of a funny story with the Allstate deal, when they first acquired eAgent, it was like my first big meeting, and they were like, well, how do you guys measure success on people using your system? And my response was, if they pay their bill. At the end of the day, we were a small, private, growing company. If they were paying, we weren't worried about what they were doing. What I did learn a lot of in Allstate is obviously getting them to use it creates the buy-in, the stickiness. And we actually got to the point where we were charging Allstate agents for a product that Allstate owned. I think to this day, it's still the only one that done that, but there was so much buy-in and everyone was using it that they had no problem paying. So I'm much, as in my world now, definitely focus on use and customer success as well.
Yes. And you mentioned automation as well. It's one of those things, like, automation is here to stay. I'm not saying it's going to substitute anyone. You still got to have your team members, your account executive, your CSRs. It's only there to enhance what you're doing, to make you better.
I think that's been proven, right? Even over time. I always kind of use the example of like toll booths, right? There used to be toll booths all over the place, and every toll booth had a person in it. And, they were getting paid. You hear stories of New Jersey and New York. These guys were making crazy amounts of money working overtime stuff. But anyway, there's no more people at toll booths, right? Everything's, but what did that do? That created how many engineering jobs, how many construction jobs as they were knocking down the old booths and building the new ones. So the person you see that was taking the money is gone. But there are probably created 3 jobs just off of that one.
Yep.
So it was automated, but there's still a ton of people involved, and you just got to be involved in the right spot.
Exactly. I agree with that. So listen, man, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, brother. Before we go, I want you to share something fun about yourself, because this is Fun Insurance Solutions, right? We're the ones that find insurance fun. Everybody else sees the industry as a boring whatever. It's fun. So share something fun about yourself.
I think I'll probably go the easy route. You can kind of see, I don't see behind me, I've got some golf playing. So, as when I was with Lightspeed Voice, especially, I was traveling a lot, 35, 40 weeks a year, it seemed like. And I just made a decision at one point. If I was going to be somewhere more than 2 days, I was bringing my golf clubs. And that was not convenient. It was not convenient, I promise you. So having a trade show booth plus a whole bag of golf clubs was not convenient, but it kept me sane. It kept me excited about being on the road and provided some relief from long days at conferences. So golf's definitely my happy spot. And I tried to work it into the job for sure.
Nice. Plus you got to play many courses across the country, which is that's
Torrey Pines, Scottsdale.
Nice. Nice. Well, you can always come to my neck of the wood and we can go play TPC Sawgrass, and then.
That place is magical for sure.
It is beautiful. I have not played it yet. I'm dying to play it. I have not played it yet, but hopefully 2024 will be the year I finally get to play it.
There you go.
So I appreciate it.
So I did play it once, and I was having like one of the best days of my life, golf wise. And then I put a ball in the water on 16, 17, and 18. So I definitely need to go back and avenge those 3 holes.
I was just going to ask you after that, before you mentioned that, did you hit the green in 17?
I missed it like 2 feet, but it's incredible. And it just, amazes you how good those guys. I mean, I'm nobody. I just thought it was like a Tuesday afternoon, and you just get like you can't even swing the club. You're just throwing these courses that you've seen and watched the pros on, and yeah, it's like I was just happy to hit the ball.
Yeah, I've been going to the Players every Thursday since 2020.
Yep.
And usually on Thursday, it's not so crowded. So you can actually get close to the tee box where you're seeing them only 6-8 feet away from you. And it's 120 yard most of the time, or it's like you would think it's nothing for them, specifically for them. And it still means the whole world. It makes you, shake and tremble. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I can't even imagine what's going to do for us. So anyways, Listen, man, whoever wants to connect with you, where should they contact you? LinkedIn, Facebook, what do you prefer?
Yeah, LinkedIn's great. So, just Stephen Mohr, and we do have a growing community on the Insurance Industry Index at LinkedIn. I think I'm up over 400 followers now, which is super cool.
Nice.
I'm definitely on Facebook, but I do try and push most of the stuff over to LinkedIn. You can email me. It's just my full name, Stephen.Mohr, Mohr, @theinsuranceindex.com. And definitely always happy to chat and feedback, and love helping people out in the industry. So if it's just have general questions about whether it's an event or technology, I'm always happy.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I really look forward to the next 2 years of the Insurance Index and see where it takes you, because I know it's going to be amazing. So I appreciate you, man.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, Johnny here. If you want to make 2024 your best year yet, check out www.theinsuranceindex.com to research all the upcoming events, vendors, speakers, and much more. Please visit www.theinsuranceindex.com and make 2024 your best year ever.